Well, who would have expected this? No Rohit, no Gill, new inexperienced top three in Jaiswal playing his first test in Australia, KL Rahul in horrible form opening the batting for the first time in Australia, and Padikkal making his test debut. Kohli, the only experienced player in the top four in disastrously concerning form coming into the series. No Shami, and a captain captaining in only his second test. And India coming off the back of a humiliating 3-0 defeat at home to New Zealand. India had everything stacked against them, everything going against them heading into this BGT. However, there was one person, one thing that was perhaps the only thing that was going in India's favor. Jasprit Bumrah fit and raring to go. He's just a one-of-a-kind bowler, and what a year he's having. He was arguably one of the biggest contributors to India's T20 World Cup win, and he was raring to go here in Perth. And boy, did he make it count. Hello and welcome back to my channel where I will be discussing India's unexpected but masterful thrashing of Australia in the opening test of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. A real hammering of Australia, battering them into submission and winning the test by 295 runs.
नहीं झूठ बोल रहा है
No, you better believe it, 295. Like, subscribe, and away we go. So, Bumrah won the toss on the first morning on a spicy and fresh Perth wicket and chose to bat first, a decision that was questioned and critiqued by many. I mean, conventional wisdom says when you win the toss at the Optus Stadium in Perth, a venue where Australia have never ever lost a test match until this one, you bowl first because of the pace and bounce of the wicket. However, Bumrah and India had other ideas. So anyway, India started batting, and all the batting woes of the home Test series defeat to New Zealand seemed to be coming back to haunt the team. India got bowled out for just 150 to start their series off in the worst possible manner. Jaiswal and Padikkal got out for ducks. Virat Kohli's horrid form continued as he overcommitted on the front foot to a short of leg delivery and edged behind for five. Yeah, Rahul was the only Indian batsman who looked assured at the crease as he battled away to 26 of 74 deliveries, and he got out in a very controversial manner. What is going on with the umpiring in Australia? Another shocking decision. So here's what happened. Australia appealed for a caught behind, and the on-field umpire gave it not out. Then the Aussies reviewed it, and the third umpire gave him out caught behind after looking at just one camera angle and deeming that the ball had nicked the bat. However, the confusion was because at the same time, the bat was close to the pad. So the spike on ultra edge could have easily been because of bat hitting pad and not ball hitting bat. But they didn't see enough angles that would have corroborated it. In fact, since it had been given not out on field, like I said, the third umpire should have looked at more angles in order to have conclusive evidence to overturn the original not out call, which I feel was not there. The Australian broadcasters have so much technology in their Fox box to run a spaceship, and yet they're not using it. It was clear that the sound was of bat hitting pad. All they had to do was use one of their, I don't know, 500 million angles. India lost a review and more importantly lost Rahul because of a hasty decision. Whether it's within India or Australia, process has to be followed. Simple as that. Are you getting paid more money to make decisions faster? Is there a fine for being too slow? It appears that there is. KL was visibly disappointed because he felt that he had not nicked it, but you cannot do anything as a batsman. Next, Rishabh Pant also looked good for his 37, but the best batter from India in that innings was a man on debut, Nitish Kumar Reddy. He top scored for India with a quick fire 41 from 59 balls, farming the strike with the tailenders really well. He balanced caution with aggression, and it was lovely to watch. India got to 150 largely because of his knock. As for the bowlers, Josh Hazlewood picked up 4 wickets, including the big one of Kohli. Then came Australia's batting, and boy, was it cinema quality or what? Absolute box office stuff as they got rolled over for just 104. That's right, just 104 runs, all out. Who was the star of the show for the Indians, you may ask? Well, you guessed it. It was Jasprit Rockstar Bumrah. I don't even have words or adjectives left to describe this man. But let me try my best to do justice to his extraordinary bowling for the next few minutes. This man is just out of this world. A human being, in my opinion, cannot do the kind of stuff that he does on a cricket field. He's a magician. He's a cheat code. He's a cheat code for any cricket team. His bowling is like watching poetry in motion, your favorite art coming to life. He's a beast with the swinging new ball. He's a menace to batsmen with the semi-old ball that other bowlers struggle to swing, but he swings both ways. And he's a cunning operator with the old ball, with his cutters and variations. His stock delivery is in the high 130s. So he's not crazily quick. But what makes him so lethal is his bowling action. He releases the ball from 20 odd centimeters ahead of normal, so it gives the batsman a fraction of a second less to react to the ball. This is because the distance that the ball has to travel after release is reduced. Another feature about his bowling, which is more relevant to T20 cricket but also applies here, is that his stock delivery, which is in the high 130s, like I said, and his slower deliveries are bowled with the exact same hand speed and hand action, same action. Usually, batsmen can pick up cues from bowlers' actions and hand speed about the speed of the ball, but not with Bumrah. And finally, the fact that he literally walks up to the crease, just gaining momentum in the last few steps, in which he doesn't come charging in. He just ambles in a gentle hop, a smile at the batsman, and then he releases a thunderbolt at 140. And remarkably, the setup and everything is the same, even when it's going to come out at 115 kilometers an hour. You add all of this, you put a brand new Kookaburra red cherry in his hand, put him on a spicy Perth wicket. Yep, that is a recipe for disaster if you're a batting team. And he looked out of this world in that opening spell. He bowled 7 overs and picked up 3 wickets and was threatening to pick up a wicket every single ball, with plenty of plays and misses and edges not carrying. He ended up with 5 wickets to his name, claiming the 11th fifer of his career and breaking the back of the Australian batting lineup. I think he's going to go down as one of the greatest fast bowlers or bowlers in general of all time. And he's only 30 years old, with at least another 5-6 years cricket left in him. Just imagine what he's going to end his career with in terms of records, stats, and impact. Siraj and Harshit Rana, the other two pacers, were really only playing a supporting act to Bumrah, but they also did a really great job as well, with Rana claiming 3 wickets on debut. Then came India's second innings. Starting off with a lead of 46 runs, India just kept on building and building and building and growing that lead, swelling that lead, and giving absolutely nothing to Australia in arguably the best batting conditions of the Test match up until then. The openers, KL Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal, batted on another planet and put together a record-shattering 200-run opening partnership. Listen to this. Their partnership was India's highest opening partnership in Australia ever. That's crazy. Jaiswal scored his fourth Test 100, going on to make 161 chanceless runs, while KL Rahul took some time to get his eye in, but did eventually and made a patient 77. And what's interesting is that Jaiswal even had the audacity to sledge one of the best bowlers in international cricket with a phrase that no fast bowler ever wants to hear. He played one ball, went up to Stark and told him, and I quote, "You're bowling too slow." Gee, the audacity to do that. And then 2 balls later, he nonchalantly flipped Stark up and over square leg for a huge six. Crazy stuff from the young man. Young superstar, I should say. So, this was the story of the first part of the Indian innings. Then, the next part, it was the return to form of India's batting stalwart, Virat Kohli. He had not got a Test 100 into his name in more than a year, with his 29th one coming in June of 2023, and was in horrendous form and just nothing going right for him in the home series against Bangladesh and New Zealand. However, I had said something about Virat Kohli in my previous video where I previewed the BGT before the match started, obviously. Take a look. Of course, we know that form has evaded him for some time. Nothing is going right for him. He's getting out to full tosses, getting run out in Test cricket, and just clearly not in a good space. However, Perth, the venue for the first test match has been a happy hunting ground for him. In 2018, he scored one of his finest overseas hundreds here in Perth, and he will remember that for sure. So there will be that sense of familiarity for him at that venue, and hopefully that will be what he needs to get back into Kohli form. Personally, I think that he's going to have an absolutely rocking series because historically, I have seen with him, we've all seen with him, he plays his best cricket when his back is up against the wall, and there is no doubt that this time his back personally is up against the wall. So the stage is set for a Virat Kohli classic down under.
God.
And he proved me right indeed, ending his century drought and getting his 30th Test 100. And what was special about this knock is that towards the end of it, he went into a complete T20 mode because India wanted to declare the innings. So he swept, reverse swept, slog swept, stepped out, and brought out his full repertoire of T20 shots and got to his 100. So a selfless 100, a selfless, attacking, stroke filled, beautifully crafted 100. And another thing that was special about this 100 was the celebration. There was no in your face, aggressive, jumping, screaming celebration like we've seen from him in the past. Instead, it was a relieved and genuinely happy celebration. The raise of the bat, a flying kiss to the wife, who has seen his mental struggles while he was not in form. So great to see this knock and the celebration as well. And this could well be the starting of something extra special from him in the twilight of his career. So the moment he got his 100, India declared, setting Australia a tiny target of just 533 runs. Then, coming to the fourth innings of the test match, once again it was Bumrah who started things off with a bang for the visitors. He trapped debutant Nathan McSweeney LBW for a duck. I feel for poor Nathan, I really do. Siraj was fired up from the other end as well. He sent back other opener Osman Khawaja cheaply, and night watchman Captain Cummins too, soon after. And then Bumrah rounded off a perfect day for India by getting Labuschagne out LBW in the last over of the day. Labuschagne left the ball, thinking that it will swing away, which is Bumrah's stock delivery. But Bumrah is Bumrah, and he turned his wrists at the last moment to send the ball cannoning into the pads, and he got the LBW. What a master. You have to see it to believe it, really. So yeah, at stumps on day 3, Australia were in a pretty miserable position at 17 for 4 with like 1,000 runs still to get. Next morning, day 4 started off with Siraj getting Smith out, edging behind for 17. He's still to get back into form, and it's pretty concerning, Steve Smith. But then Travis Head and local boy Mitch Marsh had a solid counter-attacking partnership. But obviously that was not enough. Nitish Kumar Reddy got Marsh out bowled to claim his maiden test wicket on debut. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing because I was so caught up in Virat Kohli's knock. In India's second innings, Nitish also contributed with a quick-fire 38 from 27 balls that allowed Kohli to take his time a bit from the other end. So an overall package, an overall contribution, an overall performance from the young man on debut. Fantastic to see. Now back to the Aussie batting. So yeah, Reddy got Marsh for 47, and then Travis Head continued on his merry ways and battered the Indians around for a while, racing along to 89. Unfortunately for Australia, he was the only batsman who clicked and the only batsman who got past 50. Now, you know who got Head out? Any guesses? Yep, it's Bumrah again. And he set him up really well as well. He angled the ball into Head for I think 15-20 minutes or so, non-stop and accurately as well. And then he just pushed one little wider, luring him into the drive and nicking him off. Then the rest of it was just a formality. But something that should not go unnoticed is Dhruv Jurel's wonder catch at short leg to dismiss Stark. The ball was travelling fast and was going over him, but he stuck his right hand up and behind him as a pure reflex and held on to a stunner. What makes it even more special is that he's a wicket-keeper normally, but is in the team here as a specialist batsman in this match. Harshit Rana ended the proceedings with a cunning slower ball to Alex Carey that dipped on him and castled the stumps, sending the Indian fans into dollops of delirium, with the 295-run thrashing of Australia taking an early lead of 1-0 in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. This was also Australia's first ever loss at this ground, the Optus Stadium in Perth. Bumrah, of course, was the player of the match, and the stand-in captain delivered the goods in Perth. Also, speaking of venues where Australia have never ever lost a test match, the next one is the Adelaide Oval, the venue of the second test starting tomorrow. Will India break another home domination streak and claim a 2-0 lead in the series? Or will the Aussies show some fight and maintain their perfect record in Adelaide and square the series one apiece? For now, though, this is all. Thank you so much for watching. India have taken a 1-0 lead in the 5-match series and are looking in red hot form early in the BGT. On that positive note, goodbye.